Last time, I reviewed Super Mario Land. This time, I'm reviewing the sequel, a game that's mostly remembered for that creepy Wario advert.
Obey Wario, destroy Mario.
Don't fall under Wario's evil spell in Super Mario Land 2, only on Game Boy.
Like the previous Mario Land, Shigeru Miyamoto had no involvement in the development of Mario Land 2. Together with Link's Awakening, they formed what I like to call the Sans Miyamoto-san trilogy. The basic premise is that Mario is rewarded for his heroic deeds with his own castle, but his new rival Wario comes along and takes over the island, locking Mario out of his new home.
I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Is there someone else up there we could talk to?
No, now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
So Mario needs to collect the 6 golden coins to unlock the gate and get rid of that obnoxious squatter. You'll see one of the numerous improvements as soon as you hit the start button, a save feature. This is a much bigger and longer game than the first Mario Land. You won't be finishing this game in 40 minutes. Or can you? Any speedrunners watching this, what's your best time? Now, before the game starts proper, we have to play the intro level, a very short and easy stage to get you used to the controls. As you can see, there's been improvements to the graphics, giving us bigger, more detailed sprites. Not to mention all the details in the background. They actually made some decent water effects. Another improvement is the control. One thing I forgot to cover in my review of the previous Mario Land is the controls. The last game had a slight stiffness to Mario's running and jumping. It's not a major problem, which is part of the reason I neglected to mention it in that video, but it can throw off your timing if you're used to the NES Mario games. But now the running and jumping is much more fluid and there's a very smooth feel to the controls. Also, if you press down while jumping as large Mario, you can do a spin attack like in Super Mario World. Also, the invincibility star is back. This time, if you can kill 4 enemies with it, you'll get an extra life for every enemy you kill afterwards. Once the intro level is finished, the game opens up. There are 6 worlds called zones in this game, so Wario is actually borrowing from Sonic the Hedgehog for once! You can visit these zones in any order, making this the first non-linear Mario game, years before the Nintendo 64 came along. We'll start with the Mario Zone, taking place inside a giant mechanical Mario, dominating the skyline as a symbol of peace and justice.
Or a giant monument to its owner's ego. Depends who you ask.
In the first level, you jump up using gears as platforms. It reminds me of the clock tower levels seen in any given Castlevania game. When I reach the end of the level, I ring the bell to trigger a minigame where you can win extra lives and power-ups. This time there's more variety, like this UFO catcher. The new power-up introduced is the carrot. It gives you bunny ears and lets you glide over long distances. It's similar to the cape and the leaf from Mario World and Mario 3, just without a sweeping attack. The distances you can fly here are quite broken, however. The carrot practically cuts the game's difficulty in half. The second level is the most infamous one in the game, for the supposed Freudian implications. They say that the level is like a eunuch's daydreams.
Full of bollocks.
No, it probably just means that Mario keeps a billiard ball in the front pocket of his dungarees. Balls to you, I say! Balls to you and your juvenile double entendres! The third level is Mario's tongue. Some of the enemies here have a toy box aesthetic, as if they've just migrated from Castle of Illusion on Mega Drive. Finally, we get to the top, and inside of Mario's head. It looks like he's got Lego on the brain. I see the Mario Lego sets were being dreamed of even back in the early 90s. Nonetheless, we reach the end of the level and get into our first boss fight, the 3 little pigs. They'll attack you with predictable patterns, rolling, hopping, then bouncing. Each boss in the game is pretty easy and goes down after jumping on them 3 times. Like baseball with its 3 strikes and you're out rule. But because there's 3 pigs, each one of them has their own hit point tally. I managed to bring home the bacon without much huffing and puffing and collect the first of the 6 golden coins. Then we go down south to our next zone. But entering this level may have traumatized some kids back then. Welcome to the Turtle Zone. Basically the underwater level, so we might as well get it out of the way. The first act is swimming towards the cave. As you'd expect, you have less control than you do on land, with all the sea life out to get you. But it's a lot easier if you're being a fire flower. Then you can sink everything that comes with you. Except for the sharks. The second stage sees us in the ruins of the sunken submarine. Now, what's interesting about this level is this passage that Super Mario is too big to go into, but it's the perfect size for small Mario. I follow the secret passage and avoid the sharks to find a special exit, leading to a bonus stage. Like in Super Mario World, there are bonus levels if you make an effort to look for them, like this one on a tropical island with abundant power-ups. A fun distraction, but you still need to redo the submarine level if you want to get to the next stage. Which we do, only to pull a Pinocchio and end up inside the whale's gob. Don't worry, it's nowhere near as bad as the whale's mouth in King's Quest IV. You don't have to painstakingly climb up a slippery wall, being pixel perfect, with one incorrect move sending you falling down to break your neck. Just some simple platforming with a boss fight at the end, a giant squid. Wait a minute. Isn't this the same squid who catfished me in the last game? But in hell! Which he does. The Fireflower makes this boss a complete cakewalk. So after killing the boss and treating myself to a calamari appetizer, we get the second golden coin and head off to the next zone. And since we're moving clockwise, that would be the tree zone, in which Mario is basically climbing up a giant tree from inside the roots. Then we're inside the tree trunk, navigating through sap with all these strange fish-cow hybrids. Only in a Mario game. But the music is much more chill than a certain other Nintendo game with a stage inside a giant tree. Next we come out on top of the branches and have a choice of which level to play next. You only have to clear one of these stages to get to the boss. To the left is a stage on the leaves, emphasising platforming and pitfalls with insects coming at you. To the right is a stage inside a beehive. This one features a guest appearance from Dizzy the Egg. I wonder how Nintendo got away with that. Looks like a middle finger at Codemasters. Now onto the stage boss. Like 2 levels ago, it emphasises platforms in the sky. The stage design on this level definitely feels like something out of Mario Bros. 3, riding blinking clouds, and this time you have to hitch a ride on an owl's head. Oh, Owl's Head. Sounds like a great name for a pub! The stage boss is an angry crow that hovers up and swoops at you.
Angry crow takes flight.
Thank you for sharing, Angry Crow! You know, since getting into Norse mythology, I would have thought that the enemies would have been based on the beasts that sheltered in the world tree Yggdrasil during Ragnarok, with the stage boss being the bird. It's the same mythology that inspired the legendaries in Pokemon X and Y, but I couldn't find a snake or a stag anywhere. Maybe they used the frogs and cowfishes instead. Wait a minute. Could it be that I'm just a pseudo-intellectual, seeing a reference where there isn't one? No, of course not, it's Nintendo who's wrong. Now we're going to the most unique zone in the game. In the northwestern corner of the map, we find a statue of a hippopotamus. Upon entering the stage, we get inside a bubble to experience the game's easiest level. You can float infinitely, even better than Kirby, and sail all the way to the end of the level. And now we're here. The Space Zone. That's right, Mario in outer space, decades before Mario Galaxy popularised the concept. The first stage is Mario on the Moon. The gravity is much lower here, so your jump becomes a lot higher and floatier. This zone is a true testament to the dev team's attention to detail. The sprite designers even gave Mario a spacesuit for this zone. Also, planet Saturn is smiling at you. I'm pretty sure Saturn stopped smiling when Sega lost that round of the console wars. The stage theme also has a gentle music box feel to it, very relaxing to listen to. It almost makes you forget about the pig shooting cannonballs at you. Speaking of music, the soundtrack was composed by none other than Kazumi Totaka, the famous composer for the Animal Crossing series. And yes, his signature theme tune is indeed hidden in the game. To hear it, all you have to do is lose all of your lives and wait around for 3 minutes on a game over screen. Back to outer space. Next we have Mario navigating through a field of stars. It's an auto-scroller, but you can also fly in this level. With a Fireflower equipped, it almost feels like a Gradius-style shooter. At last we come to a pipe leading to the stage boss, where we encounter a familiar face. It's Tatanga, the final boss of the last game. He was a hard boss last time, but this time Mario was in his element. You actually thought a woman like Daisy would be interested in someone like you, when she could have a fine specimen of a man like me? Tatanga's more unique shooting patterns are no match for the weight of Mario's boots.
Mudley, do something!
Yes, it is actually the same joke I used in the last video. I just like it a lot. 4 zones down, 2 to go. So, do you remember World 4 from Super Mario Bros. 3? That's a really fun one where everything's giant. Well, Mario Land 2's equivalent is the Macro Zone. I used to wonder if it was just a mistranslation of Microzone, as Mario appears to have been shrunk down to the size of an ant. Then I spoke to a sports nutritionist about micronutrients and macronutrients and realised Mario didn't shrink. It's called the macro zone because everything's giant here. Like in Texas. They have to be giants, since the recoil on those bazookas the ants have on their heads would likely tear them apart otherwise. I also found a shortcut that takes you through one stage before getting to the boss level. This one takes place in the loft. That's the attic to you Stars and Stripes folk. It's full of giant books, but you can still read through one of these books faster than you could War and Peace.
We've been at it a few years now, haven't we, old mate? Where was I? Ah, yes. Chapter 1, Sentence 3.
After making our way through this library on Titan, we fight a giant rat with a stage boss. He keeps popping in and out of the pipes, and you have to be careful to hit him only when he's on the ground. Unless you shoot him with fireballs. So where are you going now? Off to order a pizza for your 4 turtle sons? Can I join you?
Well, one good thing about being tiny.
Yeah, one slice of pizza is enough for all of us.
Like, speak for yourself, dude.
Now we're in the home stretch. The last of the 6 zones is the Pumpkin Zone. It reminds me of a Mighty Max toy. That's a Polly Pocket for boys if you weren't around at the time. First level is a graveyard with Jason's hockey mask running around with a knife cutting through it. This is the biggest edgelord you'll ever see in a Mario game. So that's a Western style horror level. Now we have a more Japanese themed ghost hangout. This reminds me of the Legend of a Mystical Ninja with yokai running around, possessed lanterns and haunted parasols. Also the Blues make a welcome return. Green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light. You moved, I just saw you! And now we must spend one night in the haunted house. The music of this level gives off a real Addams Family vibe. The first enemy we encounter is the Ghost of a Goomba. Could this vengeful spirit be an old enemy seeking revenge from beyond the grave? I don't know, Mario flattens Goombas all the time. How am I supposed to know which specific one this is? For you, it was the day you died. The day your entire world changed. But for me, it was Tuesday. Last level. I think these enemies are supposed to be leeches. I mean, there's a witch flying around, and their answer to everything is leeches. You can try to jump on the broomsticks, but you have to make sure your aim is spot on. Missing the angle and having it shoved up your backside is the sort of thing that should happen to Rick Mayall, not Mario. All that's left here is the boss fight, a witch with a beak. Now, be careful because her fireballs light the cauldrons, causing the platforms to send you flying up into the spikes on the ceiling. So overall, the bosses in this game are a step up from the last game, where it was all about just getting past them and hitting their self-destruct switch. Here you have to wait for the right moment to jump on their heads. There's more to the bosses this time, but they're still a lot easier than the bosses in Mario 3 and Mario World. So we've got the last coin, and now the gate is open. Time to take care of that uninvited freeloader. But first, we need to adapt to the game's one and only difficulty spike. Now, I understand it's the last level, it's supposed to be challenging, and it is common for Mario games to become relentless in the final stages. But this level is frustrating for the wrong reason. It's the only level in the game that doesn't have a checkpoint. All the other levels in the game have them, but not the longer, harder final level where you need it the most. Yes, haha, longer and harder, very funny. So if you die in the castle, you get kicked out and have to start the level all over again. It starts with piranha plant statues shooting fireballs at you while wrecking balls come flying towards you. A beginner's trap in which you have to tread carefully. Then you climb up to the next floor. Here's the most difficult platforming challenge of the game. These moving platforms that carry you across the lava. The worst of it is this one here. You have to jump or walk onto it, then duck in time to make it past the wall with hardly any room for error. This is where most of your deaths will occur. Then you have a chamber with giant fists smashing down at you and are almost too fast to run through. These are activated by trap tiles on the floor, so with hindsight you can just jump over them and avoid triggering the trap. Then there's more lava and platforms. These ones crumble almost as soon as you land on them, so you have to be quick, but rushing can throw off your timing and calculations for the jump. And after starting all over again, I finally made it to the top floor. Lava pool number 3 has spikes on the ceiling, so don't get too heavy-handed with your jumps, especially since the gimmick this time is the platforms moving up towards the spikes. Then there's a series of mid-bosses, bouncy balls with shit-eating grins. You can take them out with one spin jump, but if you get hit and revert back to Small Mario, then it takes 3 normal jumps to take them out, whereas you now die in one hit. Now it's the final showdown against Wario. The final boss has 3 phases in which he uses the same power-ups that Mario has been utilising throughout the game. Phase 1 is simple enough, he runs and jumps. Because he's such a big target, he's not too hard to hit. Just be aware, he runs fast for a fat man. Similar running speed to Dr. Robotnik at the end of Sonic and Knuckles. Phase 2, Bunny Wario. And it's not even Easter! He hovers above you before coming down on you like a ton of bricks. You have to move quickly and make sure you're not on the ground when he lands, or you'll be stuck in one place, giving him an opening for a cheap hit. The third and final phase, he's armed with a fire flower. He beat me on my first time playing. Now, because this is the final boss, you'd think there'd be a checkpoint here, right? Take a guess. You get that unhealthy rush when you want to try again right away. This harsh penalty in the final level is the one thing counting against this game. Compared to final levels in other vintage Mario games, the climax of Super Mario Land 2 isn't actually that hard. There's no regular enemies getting in the way, nor are the projectiles coming at you from every direction. The bulk of the challenge is pure platforming, and most of the platforming challenges aren't even that difficult once you get used to them. It's just the fact that you have to start the whole level from the beginning if you die. To paraphrase Pro Jared's review of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, it's not that hard, just unfair. After a few more attempts, I finally get up to Wario again. With practice, I learned his flight pattern in his bunny form, then avoided his third form's fireballs long enough to get my 3 hits in, and finally win the fight. After he randomly throws his shoe at me, I finally get rid of that squatter. We flip the upside down M the right way around, and at long last, this castle is back in the hands of its rightful owner. I'm the king of a castle, I'm a dirty rascal, I'm the king of a castle, I'm a dirty rascal. Overall, Super Mario Land 2 is a fun time. If you only get one Mario game for Game Boy, this is the one I recommend. Definitely an 8 out of 10 game, and the definitive pick-up-and-play platformer for the system. And it does teach an important life lesson. Carrots are great. They give you wings!